Started while we wait on people to come in.
We're live.
Yeah, I don't want to start with the Sanji thing until we get our crowd in. I know my boy Jose Lario's gonna pull up. You know what I'm saying?
Oh Lord.
The Sanji crew. But
yeah, we're live.
Whoa. All right, let me. Okay, my mic do sound good today. Yes, sir. We back. All right, we live. 4 people in here. I want to say probably us, but it's still 4. Oh man, fellas, how we doing, man?
Can't ask for better with these types of chapters. I'm not gonna lie. The past Elbaf, 2-3 chapters.
Hey, listen. So there's gonna be some uncomfortable convos about Elbaf very soon. And
I don't remember if it was the end of last year or if it was the end of the year before that. But you remember when Oda was like, I was thinking about, making the Straw Hats go somewhere other than Elbaf, but I couldn't make Luffy. Why are you playing with us, Oda?
This is what we here for, man. That guy is full of crap. He was not. There is no shot. We was missing Elbaf, bro.
Gotta be.
So is this I just chapter of the year contender?
Okay, I'm pushing back against that though. Where we get? Where did it come from?
The year.
I've heard. I saw Danny man say the same thing.
Well, I'm saying for you, you're a Sanji fan.
Oh, I mean, listen. When you expect greatness, you used to it, right? So we'll get there, but I ain't shocked at all.
But I mean, I wouldn't. If I was a Sanji fan, this definitely wouldn't be chapter of the year because they're using like Sanji's thought process to kind of boost up Zoro. Like as a Sanji fan, this is the kind of stuff you go against, right?
No, as a Sanji fan, this chapter.
This chapter
indirectly.
Yeah.
Well, we can wait until we get some people in here.
I see what JJ is saying because Zoro is also boosted in this chapter, and we find out like. Well, I guess we'll say.
Yeah, but that's the thing. So, before we talk about the Sanji stuff, we can just talk about Zoro real quick because nobody really cares about him.
But I want to say Zoro, the fact that he's been leaking Conqueror's Haki aura for the last, who knows how long. It's been, bro. It's like now Gabon is saying we're gonna have a more conscious use of it. I think Zoro's about to be. When we talk about Zoro top 3 end of series, I can definitely see that now.
2.
And I love how Gabon phrased this use of Haki, that it has to be very intentional, because that just proves even more that Haki is based off of will, right? And the more will you have when using the power, the better it'll be. So if Zoro didn't know he had Conqueror's Haki, right? How can he will it upon other people?
So, he's an idiot. Let's just call a spade a spade. So he's a
basically
fucking idiot,
Zoro nerfed himself by being a dumbass. That's what.
Yeah, but you don't think Luffy would be in the same kind of situation if he didn't train with Rayleigh?
Perhaps
he might be, because he was literally doing the same shit.
Rayleigh was from Amazon Lily telling him about Haki, and
but that's the thing, right?
What was Mihawk teaching Zoro in 2 years? Like he didn't teach him about Conqueror's Haki.
You can't teach somebody about something you don't got. But anyway, when it comes to Luffy, shout out to Mihawk has Conqueror's Haki. Let me try.
Mihawk is the worst sensei in the world.
There's no way he does it.
Here's my thing, right? Luffy using Conqueror subconsciously when he had no idea what Haki was. Is like, okay, that's fair. But Zoro now knows what Haki is. He saw Luffy he's seen Luffy use Conquerors multiple times. He's felt the feeling. Pause. Like, even when they first come back for the time skip, he's like, oh, he better have Conquerors or he can't be my captain. Just for you to be using it and you not even know, are you dumb?
Yeah, and that's the thing I don't get is we've never seen a moment with Luffy and Zoro talking about Haki, and like they train with Mihawk and Rayleigh, and you come back and you should have at least a conversation of what you learn. Just to, that would help a lot for Luffy and then for Zoro too.
He's not a smart
guy. My thing with Zoro is we've never seen Zoro use Haki when he's not applying it to swords. So I don't even think he's like even thinking about the fact that he's exuding this power, because he's not. If he's not in a attack mode, he doesn't realize what he's doing. So I think like this is just a, with Gabon saying like, you got to tame it. I think this is the point where, Zoro starts focusing on, we don't really see Zoro use too much observation really at all. So this is just the time where Zoro just really tap in with his Haki and proves that he's the true captain of the team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it still goes to show how dumb he was. Like, you didn't use Conqueror's Haki when you knocked out 15 people in Onigashima? Like, how the hell do you
He
not
is
know?
an idiot. He's not smart. He could never be a captain. He can't even lead himself. How you gonna be a captain, a true captain?
I can't. It's so funny. It's literally like pointing
It was
like
hilarious,
a
though, yeah.
enraged bull, like over and over again.
I know y'all saw the Zoro guy. It was one of them annoying ass Zoro fans on Twitter that made a tweet like last year. He was like, I keep seeing y'all. Like, he was like, people saying Zoro don't know that he has Congress. Like, y'all must think he dumb like Luffy or something. This is a swordsman. And he was talking his shit. Shit had like 1,000 likes, motherfucker. Hyping Zoro up. My. One thing about them tables, fellas, they always turn, man. The truth will be revealed at some point. But anyway.
See, I think OP Twitter has a huge track record. I mean, some people do get it right, but a lot of people get it wrong. So if you think the story is going one way, just look at Twitter and think the opposite, and then it'll probably go that way.
Especially if it's an agenda tweet.
Oh yeah. Gotta love agendas, right?
But I think Elbaf, man, I ain't gonna lie, bro. This might be a top 5 One Piece arc, man. When we get, when it's all said and done, bro.
I don't even think we need to go.
Do you think
all
it's kind of wild that Loki never told Hasruden until now?
I think it's a common storytelling trope that is annoying, that happens a lot.
Years, like, come on, bro.
Well, it's like, yeah, the guy he's so cool and stoic or whatever, or he just so, I'm not finna clear my name. For what reason? Like, you could have been told this story, you know what I'm saying?
Like, you just need to explain yourself at least so we can see your side of the story.
Yeah, and I know what JJ, I know what you're going to say with his reputation being what it is, whatever. But I think he, at very least, could have at least tried to explain it. Because I mean, when we looking at the little flashback we got in this part, the people, I don't think they're happy to see Loki, but it's some people like, him and Ja Rule, him and Ja Rule was talking, pretty casual. They welcome him back or whatever. Like, people probably was like not fond of him, but they didn't just straight up hate him until probably after the Harold situation.
Yeah.
Nah, they just saw him as like a child of destruction, like he just, causing havoc everywhere he can. He's a pyromaniac, right? I'm pretty sure he was a confirmed arsonist.
It's kind of similar with Odin. Like, Odin would never try to explain himself.
That what frustrated me about Odin when he was dancing.
Yeah.
Like, you could have did something better than that now. Come on, bro.
Yeah, because that was
like said 2 years I rated better than Wano. That's facts. Hey, that ain't saying much though,
I mean, it depends.
I don't even know how we could say like
I'm just
something gonna end up being the top 5 one way or another, because each arc, I mean, I don't know how many arcs we got left, but they just keep piling on top. I mean, pause. But Egghead was crazy. Wano was bananas, and I'm just thinking that climax is just, that roller coaster is going up and up when it comes to this story, man.
See, what I do appreciate about what Oda is doing post Wano is that there's this like level of intensity I think that Oda is setting right now in terms of the story, and he's not shying away from it. Every single chapter is building up to it more and more and more, and he's been promising that ever since Gear 5, ever since like him supposedly saying everything before has been a setup, which kind of not true, kind of is true, but from here on, like ever since post Wano, Egghead, like all the fights we've gotten, and then flashbacks, God Valley, and then even now with Elbaf, all the information, Holy Knights, Emu, it's an upward trajectory that like I feel is very important to the story. So Oda is picking up the pace, and I really appreciate that, and I feel like a lot of people are as well.
Yeah, it's no wasted time either, man. Like, I feel like A lot of times in Wano, and even a few in the Egghead, where it was some points where he was like, not much happened that chapter. You know what I'm saying? We could have went without that chapter, but I don't think there's been. I mean, outside of the Legoland stuff, I guess. But since we got out of Legoland, I feel like Elbaf has been just straight like good chap. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like Legoland was literally just to have people be so confused, like, what the fuck? This was supposed to be Elbaf. Like, why are they here? And then two chapters out, then they meet everybody, and then they're in Elbaf. So I feel
Like
like
the
it's just
stream
classic
chat.
Oda being a troll.
But yeah, man.
Loki would never dance for Elbaf. Hey,
That's facts.
that is true. So I'm sorry to
Even
overlook that.
still, at the end of the like when they saw what was going on with Harold, I still think that it's still not what it looks like to us. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I truly
I think
believe. Oh, go ahead, JJ.
I think we may be saying the same thing, but I think that everything that we're seeing in regards to these giants right now happened in that room, and Loki just had to take them boys out. And you know, when you burst into the room and then see Loki over 100 bodies, like it's hard to give an explanation.
That's true. That's true. It looks like. Can we assume that Harold was hit with the Dami Reversi?
Yeah. So
I
what
think
I think
so.
happened is Harold Adami Reversi, he goes bad, and then once he goes bad, he takes out all of the people around him. Clearly they can't take him out because of the emotional attachment, and they can't take out their king. So he kills all 100. So Loki's the only one who can do something about it.
Oh, I think
So
Loki
understand
killed
this.
him, boy. I think
For
Loki
under
handled business.
Really?
with Loki being able to take so I don't know if I feel like I'm kind of switching subject, but one thing that kind of irked me about this chapter was, you know, Loki was like, with my power, I think I know what I'm doing. But then a few chapters ago, he was like, I ain't never fight none of these God's Knights. I think he's really putting it all together that he may have been fighting God's Knights type energy in that room, which is going to allow him to be helpful once he gets back up into the sun realm. I was really frustrated with that before, but, you know, putting all the pieces together,
Yeah,
that's
especially
the
with
logic
the
that I was able to make
Shanks
of it.
connection too. When he got Shanks, and then he just found out about I guess Shanks' twin. So it's like, yeah, I think he's really starting to put everything together.
Okay, we can assume. All right, we can assume that Harold, if he was Dami Reversi, he survived this stabbing from these guards, and maybe then Loki
Comfortably.
had to put him down himself.
Yeah.
But maybe Harold was like he killed all the guards for that. So you might be right, Prince. Maybe Harold was the one that did it.
Yeah, I just think it's probably like a very like reverse situation in the sense that like Harold either like took 100 like people to stop him, and then he finally was able to like get put down, and then Loki maybe dealt the last blow, put him out of his dad's misery or something. Maybe he couldn't control it fully, or the Domi Reversi was about to like go in full effect and stop it. He had to die, or there's
And
probably a
that's where I
very
want
like
to think.
dire situation that happened.
That's why I think Oda gonna get his hype. You know, he always like to hype people up with some moment of resilience where they do something crazy. I think that the way he's gonna do it with Harold is that with Harold 15 in this flashback, he's probably gonna hit him with that dumb. Well, he's 45, but you know, I think he gonna hit him. He gonna get hit with that dumb reversey as a youngin, but he gonna fight it for hundreds of years, and then well, for 100 years, but I think he's gonna fight it, and that's like how we gonna get his like boiling water moment. Like that was how he protected the nation by just fighting off the dumb reversey. But it got to a point where he couldn't fight it no more, and that's when he called in Loki and Harold. I mean, Ja Rule, so they can you know what I'm saying, do their thing with him.
See, I think it probably has something to do with his horns. I think as soon as he takes off those horns, that's the moment where like his character development changes. He's like figuring out about his ancient giant lineage and whatnot. And I think it's a classic emu move to be like, okay, like everything you intrinsically value, and like, oh, you're taking off your horns, you believe you can change your destiny. Nah, you still the same person inside. And then try to Domi reversey him and like showcase that he still has that like bloodline that Emu can easily manipulate, because the ancient giants Emu already did it before, and Emu's doing it now with Dory and Brogy. So maybe it's just to prove a point, and Harold just fell for the trap, or something else happened that he couldn't like really control the situation, and that's where Loki had to come
in. Yeah, that's I think it's gonna be a great. Maybe Sanji will get reversed. He'll get Conquerors that way. All right, buddy. We're starting early.
I imagine Harold to be a rather strong-willed person. And if we're able to Dami Reversi people like him, like if we got any issues in the world, why not just Dami Reversi whoever I need to Dami Reversi? Like, why not?
Yeah, that's a good point. But I also think that the thing with Harold was probably where it was something that was leveraged. Like if you don't let me do this to you, then I'm going to, maybe your wife, maybe your kids, we're gonna get some up off you, know what I'm saying? I'm leaving here with something.
See, JJ, I think for that specific point, I think with Emu, based on how Oda is showcasing their power and what's really about to happen in like the next 2-3 arcs, I think Emu does have the power to. They just don't want to. In my opinion,
I think it's a finite source. Is it finite? Yeah, I guess finite.
Yeah, fine. Like the amount of times you can do it?
Or like, something, I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. But
because JJ did bring a good point, like why not just do it to everyone? But
yeah,
I mean, if you do it to everyone, then you don't really have the same system set up where it's like people paying heavily tribute and this and that. You just got a bunch of demons running around everywhere.
Yeah, but I was thinking that with Dory and Brogy too, because if we think about how strong they are, and they did it very quickly too.
Are they strong, dude?
I think so, bro. I think so.
Mr. 3? Yeah, okay.
So I think that's a good. What's the strongest character you think they could do it?
Zoro. Let me stop. Probably Dory Brogy, bro. I mean Jinbei, but is Jinbei stronger than Dory Brogy?
No.
Yes.
That's a good question.
Yes.
Like without the reverse, just regular Jinbei versus regular Dory or Brogy.
So, bro.
Frankie's smacking them boys up, man.
No,
I'm not gonna lie. Them solo, I think Jinbei could take. Them together, nah. With the like Hakoku that they got, that Jinbei can't go over that.
Yeah, I was thinking more one-on-one. If it's a handicap match, tag team.
Yeah,
the one-on-one Jinbei smacking the boys. Don't let no water be near.
I think Jinbei has a chance, although he's been portrayed like shit. So
he's been portrayed like what he is.
Shit.
And that was the funny thing too with Sanji, because Sanji said that one thing where he's like, "I've been behind Zoro and Jinbei," but really it was just what was the exact phrasing though? It was like he said, "I'm tired of." Let me find it. I'm tired of Moss.
Go to Jinbei stealing all my glory. Yes, sir. There we go.
And it's like, bro, Jinbei didn't steal any glory in the last 3 arcs.
In his mind, though, you feel me? He got that bounty.
The bounty, I guess, yeah.
That bounty is massive.
That's what happens when you obsess, man. You keep your targets in check. You always got to make sure you somehow above them.
Facts, and he is. Who's this?
Maybe 1, but not 2.
But like that's why I was like, as a Sanji fan, this ain't your chapter. Like we done got the introduction to Gabon versus Luffy. Those are the Sanji chapters. This is the Zoro chapter.
This is not a Zoro chapter.
I do feel like it's a bit of both. And it's Krow, if you want, we can get into it.
Yeah, if some people come later, we can talk about it. First, somebody make a poll about Sanji conquers Haki. Chances after this chapter, do you think Sanji's getting conquers Haki? I want to get the general consensus.
It's confirmed, no?
That's why I say this is a Sanji chapter, because here's the thing. All right, let's break it down, guys.
He took that deep breath, boy.
And I'm using the Viz translation because and at least with what Gabon said, Viz did make a mistake where it was like Luffy told Loki, if anybody else got a problem with your joiner, I can beat him up. But in reality, he was saying I can just beat Loki up. You know what I'm saying? But whatever.
Yeah.
Viz looks at Zoro and Sanji and says, "There's more than one of you that can use Conqueror's Haki." Right? And then he looks at Zoro's particular, said, "Your body is used to it." Sanji goes up to Gaman like, "Yo, what about me?" And yeah, he is on some thirsty shit, but whatever. And then we get a breakaway, they get drowned out. And then we get another little panel of Sanji still talking to Gaban. Now, Gaban either said, "Yes, you're getting it." I mean, "You're close, but you still have to do blank to get it." Or B, "You can't get Conqueror's Haki, but there is something else that you can get to compensate for, right? Which is power of love, assuming that it's something different. So as a Sanji fan, you leave this chapter with the confirmation that either A, Sanji is going to get Conqueror's Haki, or B, he's going to get a stand-in ability that is just as impactful. So there's no way you come out of this losing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like at the end of the day, it's a W regardless.
I was gonna say the exact same thing. Like if you look at the panel setup, like it's very clearly obvious that when you see in some cases like direct panels that showcases no dialogue, but like it's a close up of some kind in the middle of a side conversation, Oda always makes it a point to showcase that because it's gonna be an important conversation in the future. He always does it.
Yes,
It's
and I think it's
some
going to happen
big
soon.
conversation of like main plot overshadowing the side plot conversations. And then when those side plots become main plots, then all of a sudden, whoa, Oda foreshadowed this like 200 chapters ago. I mean, like,
No, I think
it is like an Oda habit to like ignore situations and then like bring it back in light. And I think this is what he's doing with Sanji.
I think Krow is right though. I think we're about to find out in like a couple chapters.
Yeah, like when we get up here and we're fighting against these Damiaversity people, like that's when we find out.
Sanji's about to be like, he has to because now that we know it's more of a conscious thing, I think he's going to see Zoro and Luffy and see if I have it now is the time to push myself to that limit and reveal
like he'll see them fighting and be like, oh, okay, so this is what they're doing. Let me try to tap in and figure it out myself.
Yeah, so I think
Mm-hmm.
yep, I think we're going to see it soon. And it makes
sense. I'm telling y'all boys, rest easy.
Because there is a way to beat them now, so Sanji has to defeat a Holy Knight at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
I can see
so he's going to get the tools.
Yeah.
Like
it's just a matter of what tool he get.
This specific thing in order to actually get Conqueror's Haki, because Zoro and Luffy already have it, right? So he's like, oh, I can already like see it being like leave from you, and then Zoro's like being a dumbass, being like, what the fuck, I have it, and then Sanji is actually asking questions, and then in my opinion,
the fact that you have to ask is the problem.
Yeah, the even Gabon is surprised. Like in the right panel, he's like, "Huh?" And then he probably is talking to Sanji, and like while it's happening, be like, "You don't have it, but you could," or like something like that, along the lines of like, "Not yet."
Well, he's probably like, "I'm not sure." Like I feel like that conversation is going to be referenced when they get back to the summer. I'm like, he's going to go into battle, and like y'all was just saying, Zoro using Conquerors, and the funniest thing would be him just out of pure jealousy of Zoro, like, oh, this motherfucker not leaving me behind, and just using Conqueror's Haki. You know what I'm saying? Like, but in reality, I do think that at the end of the day, it's a win regardless, because you have to, as from a power scale, people like the idea of Conqueror's Haki because of what it is, which is fire.
I could see Oda doing that, and it's like we can see Nami's reaction where she's like giving that commentary on the sideline, like it's literally out of pure jealousy.
And that's funny. Sandman just made a tweet about this conversation, and he was like, if you look in the left panel, you can see like some type of dust or sparks that are floating up, and it's something that Oda uses in key scenes. You know what I'm saying? So chances are he got told something very important.
And I think we gotta also think about who's having this conversation is Gabon. We know Rayleigh has Conqueror's Haki, and he's one of the most lethal ones. And I feel like with Gabon, is it confirmed in your mind that he has it now or no?
Pretty much. I mean, if it's not, then that's just a rug pull of the century.
Yeah, I feel like it's in this chapter. It's confirming it in my mind. That's the way I see this.
Like, you don't come telling somebody, hey, this how you use Conquerors.
And this
In
how
my
you
opinion, it's not even
this how you use it, and also this is how you
level at
defeat
this
the
point.
Holy Knights too. Like, I feel like that's kind of confirming it.
Yeah, I think he's sensei level to the point where he's literally telling Luffy and Zoro, being like, okay, I'm giving you a little tip on Conqueror's Haki. I couldn't beat those dudes. Now you guys go up and try.
So so if Gabon has it, and we know Rayleigh is like the Zoro of the crew, Sanji is maybe more close to Gabon as far as their ranking. So I feel like I just feel like it's like 99% for Sanji, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, and D-Lanham with the member for 19 months. Appreciate you, gang. Sanji has to have color of conquerors. His captain is gonna be the king. Yes, this is very true. I mean, like I said, bro, it's I'm looking at 80-20. I can still see the only doubt in my mind is the science route but then again the science
I don't think
stuff.
so, bro. Because if you're telling me Roger was Luffy surpassing Roger, you need at least the same amount of Conqueror Haki users. I would say even more if Loki joins or someone else joins. I would say you got to Luffy's crew has to be the most stacked crew of Conqueror Haki users, even more than Roger, even more than Rocks. So I feel like this is the time to give it to Sanji.
Because if you really think about it, like no matter what, we can tell that Oda is sticking with this Wings of the Pirate King thing, right? Even in last chapter, he brought it up in reference to Gabon and Rayleigh. So like, no matter who joins these Straw Hats, Zoro and Sanji will be the Wings. And in that regard, you know what I'm saying? Sanji got to keep up. So I look at it like this, right? This is how I feel what Zoro does with Luffy.
Do you think Loki would join?
No.
I was going to say that's a good segue, but
0% chance. But I look at it like this. I think Oda, he always has to keep everyone arc away from each other, or at least like he likes to keep his gaps. So I think the closest, and also like the gap between Zoro and Sanji to me, it fluctuates heavily. I think the closest they were ever in strength was during Enies Lobby, and I think that kind of was reflected with the Doroki scale for the people they fought. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or whatever. But like when Oda gives Luffy something, Zoro got something coming soon. When he gives Zoro something, Sanji got something coming soon. He wants to keep the gaps. And I think he has to wait to give Sanji Conqueror, because imagine if he came out the time skip with this Haki mastery, this genetic body or whatever, this scientific body, and his fighting style, he would be just as strong as Zoro, I feel. So he got to trickle it in. Like by the time Sanji gets Conqueror's Haki, then he's gonna probably be moving to get Zoro Black Blade. Like it's got to be something.
Prince is right where it's like this chapter is Zoro and Sanji, because you have one side where if Sanji gets Conqueror's Haki, Oda's still leaving room for Zoro, where Zoro's Conqueror's Haki is so much more raw. He wasn't even knowing that he had it, and he was still fighting King and Kaido with it. So I feel like that is like a different level for Zoro when it comes to his Haki. So it's like he's kind of like it's even if Sanji gets you're progressing both at the same time.
Yeah, Sanji
will never have
like
that level of Haki.
Like a push and pull type thing for how he scales them, because Zoro has to be ahead. Yeah. So like now Zoro refining his Conqueror's Haki, getting better with it. Now I can go ahead and give it to Sanji. You know, so I didn't want them to be too close. You feel me?
It's just tears at the end of the day, and I feel like what Oda is doing now is just picking up the pace of how much he's moving these characters up these tiers. So Zoro's finally at that tier where he's getting towards the Luffy and Wano debate, or like actually intentionally using coding and understanding how Conqueror's Haki works at its core. Luffy's going at a stage beyond that, and Sanji is getting up to the stage where you get Conqueror's Haki. I feel like that's the only sort of like way to look at it.
I can't believe this man.
I do agree with the whole gap thing.
He did not know he had Conquerors. That's just absolutely ridiculous, man. But now Loki can't join right now. Last arc, you know, I didn't think Yamato would join because she's probably stronger, because they're probably stronger than Sanji, and I'm extremely confident that Loki's stronger than Zoro. Him joining the crew would just fuck up the dynamics.
See, you know I definitely think that it's 100%. I think it's the opposite. I think that because Luffy is ass now, and he's gonna start to see in battle how Loki is, his true demeanor, his actions. You know, obviously Luffy being the most emotionally intelligible man on the planet somehow, but he's gonna figure out a way to have Loki join in, and then there's gonna be some weird situation where like Loki has to either stay back or do his own thing, and then Luffy's gonna be like, "All right, you're free to do what you want," but in his mind, Loki's gonna be on the crew, and obviously, like not obviously, but I feel like the thing to reassure that is going back to Big Boy Frankie, the whole setup with the 3 worlds. Loki was in that huge panel when all the people were fighting Emu on that 3rd world or 1st world. Was it 3rd or 1st? I think it was 3rd world, right? The latest one.
Yeah, one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 3rd world. Okay, so the 3rd world is the most current world, and all the different races and tribes are going up against Emu. And we can see there's a ancient giant on one ship, just like wreaking havoc as one of the examples, right? So I think that's Loki. And if Loki were to join in on everybody attacking Emu at once, I'd feel like there's only one way, and this arc is gonna show how. And plus, I feel like it's also from a point where Loki still thinks he's stronger than Luffy, and that's about to be disputed real fucking quick.
I think I ain't gonna lie, bro. It's close.
Nah, I think Luffy got it.
No, I think Luffy is stronger, but I think it's close. I think that
it's close. True. I don't know. I feel like if Luffy can tap in on how creative he can be with his powers, I think that's the like very big irony that like Oda loves using is the fact that he gave the most abuseful power that like you can even use in the verse possible, but he just gave it to the dumbest person alive. So like he has to creatively think.
Loki is a problem, but he ain't messing with Luffy, man. Luffy has shown no. He felt the Haki. He was like, "Let me go see," but I don't think Luffy has any concern about being able to handle Loki if he needs. I could just beat him up, like, nah.
That's that ignorance, man. That motherfucker, he don't know what he's talking about, bro.
I mean, look at him in this chapter. Like Loki's literally yelling in his face, being like, "I'm not listening to you. I want to beat your ass. Don't mess with me." And his reaction, no emotion. And then the next panel, he's smiling all happy, talking to Hyrule. Like
I want to see how he fights.
Yeah, for sure. Like I ain't saying Loki winning. I just think that on the island right now, Loki got the best chance at beating. What? Goodbye. Nah, Loki got the best chance at beating Luffy on the island. I mean, outside of the possessed demons and shit. You know what I'm saying?
So
it's
now
funny how that's going on. These boys just out here chilling.
As much as I love him, I don't think Hyrule's crew can really take up much of the Holy Knight's
attention.
Get
this nigga out of here, bro.
Yeah. How many? So it's 3 or 4 Holy Knights in total plus Emu.
Mm-hmm.
It's 3 plus.
Oh, let's go ahead and do it. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and do it.
Let's see. Gunko. So it was Gunko. There was who else?
Gunko.
You got Gunko, you got Killingham, you got Summers, and you have
and one more. Right?
Nah, that's it. Gunko, Killingham, and Summers, but then you got the
Nightmares.
Dorian Broggy, the Nightmares, yeah.
Oh yeah. So I think most likely Dorian Broggy handled by either Loki or someone else. Maybe not Loki because they wouldn't trust Loki to handle the situation, or maybe he's the most qualified to do so because you already dealt with King Harold. And then you got a Holy Knight for each of the what you call monster trio. So I think it's set up quite well. Who do you think has who though in terms of matchups?
I feel like it's more likely Zoro and Sanji fight Dorian Broggy.
Yeah, I think Zoro and Sanji still gonna spin the block on Dorian Broggy, just because where they arc started.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The little rivalry thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, it could also be where the new Giant Warrior Pirates take on the old Giant Warrior Pirates. But them boys getting their ass beat the fuck up, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Get these niggas out of here, man.
No, they're not at that
bro,
level.
Hadruden, they ain't even got no aura. Like, you couldn't find no Giants with aura to join your crew, bro.
Bro, to boost his power and his crew's power, he went to Dressrosa to get the flame fruit. And he couldn't even do that.
He got one shot. He got one shot by Dressrosa Luffy. He's so
I
He's
respect
so
Goldberg,
bum,
man.
bro.
Respect
He's a
Goldberg.
fucking
That's all I can say.
bum, bro. Like Luffy treating Loki like he treated post Alabasta Crocodile. Luffy understand his strength. I mean, listen, that's facts. Luffy is stronger. What's good, Malachi Williams? Luffy is stronger than Loki, but Loki has the best chance to beat him on the island right now. But nah, these new giant warrior pirates, man, get the fuck out of here, bro. Seriously. The real new giant warrior pirates
though.
gonna be lit.
Elbaf.
The way Oda's hyping up Loki's devil fruit, I mean, I think this is probably gonna be the best devil fruit reveal in One Piece. Maybe
it's gonna be the gum fruit,
maybe
bro.
like Doflamingo's was as built up, or I can't really think of anyone else besides Dofi.
I feel like in terms of devil fruit, like hype, I think Yami Yami no Mi is definitely up there.
Yeah,
what
for
else?
sure. Yeah, Yami Yami no Mi. When we see that, it'll probably be number
It's
one.
gonna be the gum fruit.
But I'm saying, as far as right now, bro, it's like I can't wait to see Loki's fruit, man. That might be my when we see that reveal might be my favorite chapter in Elbaf when we see it.
It might be the okay. Never mind. You think Ragnar has something to do with the fruit?
I don't know.
Because if you look in the flashback, he didn't have Ragnar when it was a different hammer.
So you think
when he got there?
See, funny enough, I hope it does.
That's why I was saying it might be the gum fruit, like the actual gum fruit, could be the fruit of Elbaf because you need to eat it in order to wield Ragnar, which has lightning powers. Like maybe nobody else can actually handle the lightning unless you have a rubber body.
Oh, so like you're saying, like when using the hammer, also constantly like that distributional weight, you can only use it while being rubber, and then also when calling on lightning, in order to like negate the effects, you have to be rubber.
Yeah, so the gum fruit and the Ragnar are like linked in Elbaf lore.
Oh,
so you have to get it.
That's a fire theory. I'm not
so in order to use one, you have to take the other. Okay.
Yeah, so that's what makes it legendary. Like if you get this fruit, that's when you can get Ragnar.
Which is kind of funny if that's true, because I mean, like Loki is. We know Loki is like now like being fused with Thor. If that's the case, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would be cool.
With the lore, it's like
only him can wield the fruit. I mean, the hammer. Yeah, that would be fire, bro.
See, all I hope is that. See, as much as like I'd love that, I'm still holding on to hope that like Loki is this insanely huge giant and he has a Logia. I just hope it's a Logia.
I would love that too.
Story diversification.
I want if Loki is going to join the crew, right? Let's just look at the very small chance. Then what if it's a fruit that allows him to go down to normal size? Because that's the main two things Zoro and Sanji said. Like he's too big and he eats too much. So what if the fruit is somewhere he can manipulate his size?
You mentioned that like Luffy's fruit does allow him to shrink. We haven't really seen it much, but I feel like it could be something where it'll be the opposite, because Luffy likes to become a giant.
Mm-hmm. And Loki likes to become a human.
Yeah.
I don't know. Chat, how y'all feeling? Actual gum fruit or the Hito Mother Thor? How y'all feeling, chat? What y'all think Loki got? And vote in the Conqueror's Haki poll, please. If you just joining, I want opinions. You got 21 strong in here. Some of y'all might have missed the discussion about Sanji. Do y'all think this chapter confirms Sanji gets Conquerors, or that it'll be something else?
So, just a little side note. I want to see what chat like has in terms of like what they're thinking on it. But I'm starting to see a parallel between Loki and Luffy, which is like Child of Destruction, like sort of like God of Destruction with Beerus and stuff, like Vegeta versus Goku. Like one needs to go on an angel's path, and one needs to go on a God of Destruction's path. I think with Loki and Luffy, there's a parallel of Child of Destruction versus Child of Creation, where Luffy's imaginative, Gear 5, he's allowed to create things, bring things into a new light, create new atmospheres. I mean, he's doing it on every island he goes to, whereas Loki destroys everything he sees. It's constant destruction. His idol is Rox. He wanted to join the Rox pirates. And even after Rox died, still wanted to destroy everything in the world. So, I don't know. I'm seeing some parallels there. Chad, just let me know what y'all think.
Oh, now we got to talk about this time thing, though. Y'all feel me? That's smooth.
Oh yeah,
Gabon is in the bath. Yeah, we can talk about the whole bath scene in general. I mean, pause, but yeah. Gabon in the bath, and he's like, that must have been what 3 or 4 years ago, and Shanks is like, bro, it was 10 years ago. And then I was watching Tech, and he did the math.
The time warp.
Yeah, time moves slower because it matches with the way the Giants age. Whereas Harold is 45 years, but 15 in human would be like, it's 3 times, but it's like a third. Wait, 15 times 3 is 45, right? Yeah. And look at me, if it'd be a math teacher, can't do math. But anyway, and whereas Gabon is like, he's basically experienced time 3 times slower, because if he thinks it's been 3 years, but it's actually been 10, then it's like 3.33. You know what I'm saying? Let's just
Shanks in the
between 3 and 4.
says it feels like an eternity for you.
And that's something else, right? And that's another point taken. I'm giving Tekken his props.
So if he says like maybe in Elbaf it feels longer, right?
But at the same time, it could also be a thing where this is where the atom tree is, and time moves faster. I mean, slower here. But the Gabon was the one that said to Shanks, like, that must have felt like forever to you.
Oh, that was Gabon.
And Shanks was, yeah. And Shanks was in Marriage War, where the Eve tree is below it. So what if time moves faster in Marriage War, but slower in Elbaf because of the 2 different trees being situated there? That's something I wanted to bring up from watching Tekken, but also my own, conclusions.
It would make a lot of sense.
If time does move faster, but my problem with this time and Elbaf thing, if time moves slower, these boys ain't got too much time to be wasting, bro.
Oh yeah,
motherfuckers already close to finding One Piece.
Yeah, I feel like that would be insane if Luffy gets out of Elbaf, right? He gets out of this entire conflict, and then he finds out that everybody, Buggy, Law, Kid, like everybody associated with the race for the One Piece is closer than he is. And then he's got to be like, oh shit, I was ahead. I got to fucking catch up. And then now it's like a really like, it's a time issue.
Would be interesting too if we seen like a Dragon Ball Z situation where you have a place in Elbaf that they can use like a hyperbolic time chamber.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking that too. And I feel like
that's it got to be something. Yeah, because if time moves differently, let's say like, yeah, it might be slower, but what if like their training, like they get better results because of the difference in time or some shit? You know what I'm saying? It's got to be something that benefits them, because right now I can only see time moving slower negatively affecting them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's going to have to be some type of caveat to make up for it, I guess.
And also based on just math, right? If you look at like what Shanks and Gabon were talking about, if it's conflated with 3 to 4 years to 10 years, that means it's like a third of from like the inside world versus outside world in Elbaf. So it's 3 times as much in terms of time. So if 1 year passes in Elbaf, 3 years passes in the outside world. So if they've only been here for what, like a day, 2 days, right?
Feels like it, probably 2 days, yeah.
2 days? So it's been almost a week outside world, which is a huge amount of time considering what's been happening with Marisol being raided, all the information being leaked, VV stuff. There's a whole bunch that like could easily just, I don't know, snowball itself into just a whole calamity.
That's facts.
So we want to talk about the Child of Fate.
The main character.
Oda's main character.
Oda's favorite.
I don't trust that guy, yo.
Wow. Let's hear it.
Listen, man, we hear about this guy being the observation killer, and then we already know that Gabon got the ability to sense, Haki being off, but he wasn't able to sense anything in Elbaf while he was there, like he was while all this is going on. Watch that guy Shanks, man.
Oh no, I don't think he can get over on Gabon. He ain't that good with that shit. Gabon Haki has been nuts. If you really just look at this shit, like him being here, he's noticing like the Holy Knights when Luffy them didn't even notice. I don't think he can get over on him.
I don't know.
He called that man a child of destiny.
Level,
he could have been using prodigal power at the same time.
Shanks might be a level above Gabon. I'm not gonna lie, bro.
At that point, when he was 25. Now, yes, but that was 14 years ago. Now he wasn't no Yonko.
I mean,
Luffy
is 19. Luffy is 19 right now.
Yeah, but Luffy
so like,
19.
Why couldn't Shanks be that guy at 21 himself?
Because Luffy is 19.
When did Shanks
with
become a
Yonko?
He was like 26, right?
He became a Yonko 2 years after he met Gabon.
That's not that far off.
That's facts.
He could have been.
That's just a title. He could have been that guy before he had the title.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he could have been. Yeah, like
that nigga not fucking with Gabon like that. I think he know the fact that Gabon knows he was in the marriage or whatever. Like, I would think he would. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so what is okay?
It's not a secret that he went there.
Speaking of Shanks and Marija, what do we think is going on with Shanks?
You're doing a little soul searching, trying to figure out his destiny, man. You know,
seeing the Holy Knight
and Harold being up there together.
Yeah,
but I don't think Shanks was a Holy Knight.
Yeah, I don't think. I just think, but y'all see the mark on his arm, right?
Yeah.
I just find it hella funny. I've been seeing a bunch of memes being like, "Oh, Luffy was the first person Shanks liberated." Or sorry,
right, calm down, guys.
Shanks was the first person. It's just memes at the end of the day, but like, yeah.
I think that Shanks, whatever Roger said to Shanks at the end was massive, right? It made him cry. It's something he didn't want to do, and I can see going to the Holy Land being something Shanks doesn't want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But maybe he was like, "Yo, I need you." Did like, you know, you got to be the one.
Got to infiltrate.
Yeah, because he's going. I mean, he's talking on.
And like, if you think about it, Shanks is the only person who can do it.
Facts. I'm surprised they let him back though. That nigga, the Flamingo must be ass because they let Shanks back in the hole after being with the king of the pirates. Like he wasn't just down there with random people.
I feel like Shanks is very mature, where you're able to negotiate with him and reason with him. Doflamingo is just a wild card, bro, and he's always gonna backstab you. He's always gonna. I feel like with Shanks, you can at least trust him a bit more.
Nah, it's about lineage. It's about lineage.
Yeah.
Doflamingo's father wasn't that guy, but Garling and that whole family already are high ranked, so they're probably able to, you know, make a play that other people aren't privy to.
That's true.
Yeah, that's facts.
Yeah, Garling. If I guess we gotta know more about what happened with Garling, because are we still assuming that he put up Shanks for like a prize in God Valley?
I don't think he'll do some crazy ass shit like that, bro.
So you think it was like a misunderstanding, like the kid ended up in the chest somehow? Maybe Rocks did something.
I think maybe it's maybe Shanks' mom put him in that chest to like protect him, like like kind of like with Law being yeah, kind of like Law how Law was putting the thing.
Maybe Kuma Paul them boys just paw them, and they just sit. I mean, do Puma know where he's paw them? Like initially, like we could have the thought process that when he did it in Sabaody, he had control of his powers. But when he's in God Valley, just eat that fruit, not really privy to it, touching into people flying off. Maybe there's some kind of, you know, in paternal instinct that just sends it somewhere where the thing that got hit could be safe. And what safer place to be than on the ship with the strongest person that's on the island?
I guess the question then becomes, how did well, what about Shamrock?
I mean, he was a kid.
This Shanks stuff is so crazy because I'm thinking. You remember that thing in Marineford War where Sengoku is like, only because it's you, Shanks.
No, I don't think. Nah, I ain't going. I ain't finna let niggas go back.
So much
I ain't finna let niggas do it. I ain't finna let niggas go back and try to rewrite. No, they did that shit because they know Shanks would have beat their motherfucking ass if he wanted to.
No, bro.
I ain't going.
I don't know,
I ain't
bro.
going, bro. I can't do it.
I don't think so,
I
bro.
can't do it, bro.
Nah, but
You know how bad that looks because at that point, right? Listen, at that point, Shanks already has denounced his celestial lineage. You know what I'm saying? He's no longer a part of the Finland family. He's a Yonko, yeah. So it's not like it was gonna be some shit like Garland, like you better not touch my son. Like, no, I feel like Garland probably let Shanks back up there because he was like, you know,
yeah, I don't know,
got kidnapped.
Doflamingo, even when he's you know, even though years later he's still able to pull strings and reach above
willingly,
Akaino's
but he
power.
wants those connections. Shanks, you think Garland finna be like, look, I'm letting you back up here. You got kidnapped. He probably, you know, in his mind saying he got kidnapped or whatever. We're gonna try to make amends. I'm gonna raise you as my son. Shanks get up there, he don't fuck with it. He leave. At that point, Garland like, all right, that's all you getting, big dog. I'm not, you know, it's not gonna be no halfway relationship no more. You feel me? I don't see Garland ever being reasonable enough to work with Shanks if he decides to, you know, go back to the human world.
You know, it always puzzled my mind as well. This idea that like Shanks could so easily, even though his celestial dragon lineage is like now open, it's obvious, right? Him going to Marijua and still being a Yonko, but they not, you know, trying to kill on sight or do anything like that, or Emu just taking this chance now. I'm trying to see why, because with Doflamingo, it's the opposite. He is a celestial dragon. They gotta respect that, but they want him dead too. So, is it because maybe Shanks doesn't know what the sacred treasure is, and maybe that's why
that could be. I mean, Doflamingo does have that little bit of leverage.
Do you think Mihawk impacted Sengoku's decision at all? Then, if you're saying it's power,
Mihawk leaving,
Mihawk's like, yeah, I'm not fighting this.
What the hell Mihawk was gonna do about it?
I'm saying when you lose a guy like Mihawk, and then it's
keep
like
him to a standstill at least.
Yeah, like we know Mihawk's power is at least he could at least take on Shanks or
we Ben Beckman handling that. We good.
Or Ben Beckman or whoever. But now it's like we're losing our top warlord.
Is Shanks bounty
Yonko level?
I don't think the boys was counting on Mihawk to help anyway. To be honest, if he genuinely thought he could have looked at Mihawk and said, "Hey, you got me," and Mihawk would be like, "Yeah, let me handle him." He's a fucking idiot. But I mean, I think it's actually confirmed. You know, from what I've gathered, I don't think Sengoku is the smartest character in the world. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, Shanks's bounty is dead or alive.
Just think like when you got guys like Sengoku, Garp, and we know they've been chasing Roger around for years. I don't think they're afraid of Shanks.
But you think if Roger would have pulled up to Marineford on some similar shit, they would have.
Yeah, bro, they would have
in that exact same situation.
You got Roger trying to fight. Why not?
They would have got their shit pushed in.
Yeah, but at that point, Sengoku didn't even fight. He fought like one Blackbeard pirate.
Sengoku is the least of niggas' worries.
You got Sengoku.
If Goldie Roger pulls up,
Garp, Kizaru.
What them niggas doing to the Roger Pirates, bro?
It's gonna be a war, bro. It's gonna be a bloodbath.
It's gonna be a nigga that we don't even know the name. Take out one of the admirals, bro.
No way, bro. The fishman.
Like the fish for real. Like Gabon and Rayleigh won't even be thinking about no Kizaru, bro. It's gonna be the fishman with the big lips, bro. He gonna Kizaru the fuck out of here, bro. I don't think I ain't gonna say I'm not. Well, I mean, I personally believe that the Red Hair Pirates could have won in that scenario.
Roger Pirates would lose, or they would win. I'm not saying Roger wouldn't win that fight. I'm saying like they've been fighting Roger for years. They're not afraid of Roger.
Man, them niggas scared of Roger. The only one
that's not. You're pulling up to Marineford, like you're pulling up to our home base. Why would we not fight you here? It's a perfect place to fight you.
Let's do the numbers. I mean, let's do the matchups. The Roger Pirates pull up to Marineford at the end in place of Shanks, right? Okay. Roger versus who?
Garp, for sure.
Pushing his shit in. Okay.
Sengoku and Rayleigh.
Rayleigh pushing his shit in.
Gabon might be able to fight multiple admirals at once.
I'm not mad at it because I think he did. It's like no bullshit.
Especially when you got a kind of
who's gas
at this point, right? Like he just fought Whitebeard the whole war.
And then you gotta think about it. We still got the Whitebeard pirates here too. Marco was giving them boys problems, dog. So now let's put Marco on their side.
Half of the people in Marineford are alive.
Okay, and then we also got Blackbeard.
And he over there wilding or whatever. Yeah, like nah, bro. If the Roger Pirates came through, them niggas are finished. I mean, I feel like the same goes with the Red Air Pirates, though. Like, in my opinion, bro, Shanks wouldn't build no crew that's just superior, like extremely inferior to his captains. Like, they might be a little bit weaker, just because I think Roger's stronger than Shanks, right?
I think Gabon is now the difference.
That's gonna be Lucky Roo, though.
No, bro, no.
Bro, y'all sleep on Lucky Roo, bro.
Lucky Roo is Gabon level?
I
Prime Gabon?
Lucky Roo is going to show something crazy, especially speed-wise. I still have
I think that
I don't know
is
Gabon, though. Like, that's...
I'm telling you, bro, his number 3 is going to have to be on the level of Roger's number 3.
Plus, I feel like it's such an Oda move to do that, like, oh, who's the fastest person in the verse?
A fat guy, bro.
It's fat as we showed in day 1.
And it also goes back to the person that his name comes from, right?
Yeah, that's true.
The Lucky it was a real life. Was it a pirate? Let me see. It was a cowboy or a pirate.
Something along those lines.
Lucky Luke, known as the man who shoots faster than his shadow, right? That's who he get his name from. I'm willing to bet money that Lucky is probably top 5 fastest in the universe.
Damn.
And what's crazy is Kizaru was held to a standstill by Ben Beckman, not even Lucky Roo in terms of speed.
Man, I'm telling you, Lucky Roo getting that nigga the fuck out of here, man. Lucky Roo versus Kizaru, cool.
So how? Okay,
Yasop. Yasop taking out an admiral.
We're doing this, and I feel like we got to really boost Shanks' crew then, because I feel like for so long we've always had Rayleigh so much higher than Ben Beckman. If we're putting Lucky Roo at Gabon, prime Gabon,
I think that's valid though. I feel like I'm not gonna say Shanks' crew surpassing Roger. I'm just saying, at the very least, his main officers, they have to be close. Because Shanks got it from Roger. Like that's you know what I'm saying. He saw firsthand what it takes to build a crew to be the caliber of the Pirate King.
I mean, there's some people who would tell you that Shanks is stronger than Roger.
It makes so much sense too that Shanks and Luffy have a very similar crew building strategy, in the sense that it's a small crew but it's balanced. Everybody can hold their own. So like the Straw Hats are very similar, and then it was said before countless times that the Red Hair Pirates are the most balanced crew out of all the Yonkos. And we already saw Kaido and Big Mom's strength. We know what Whitebeard and Blackbeard are capable of. Shanks is the only one left, and they're the most balanced. I think they gotta be tough.
Exactly.
It also kind of made me sad when Shanks when he brought a buggy.
Bro, he dead ass wanted to kick it with. Bro, imagine that, bro.
I feel bad for Buggy, man.
It's really Roger though. It's really Roger's fault. Roger left all these boys a special mission. He was like, "Buggy, you'll figure it out."
he really did hope that
shit fucked up, bro.
It's kind of true. Like Buggy probably does feel betrayed by his entire crew.
I can't blame. Like, you really can't blame him.
Because not even
y'all
went to
niggas
go.
toast.
Like you can at least go find him and talk to him and explain everything.
Unless you go into the Buggy meme fan theories where it's like Buggy was hiding his power this entire time, and like then it would be kind of funny.
Please God,
it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. If it does, I'd be shocked and be laughing for at least 2 weeks. But it'll be the funniest thing ever.
Buggy is Zetsu.
Buggy Zetsu.
Shit.
That would be too funny. After the entire thing, you know what? I could easily see it, to be honest. The entire situation unfolds. Emu's gone. Blackbeard's gone. The entire war is done. Everybody's barely standing, but the war is over. Evil's gone. The world is saved. And Buggy's like, you know what? fuck all of y'all. I'm taking the throne.
I can see it happening,
Like,
but I don't think Buggy will ever be strong.
I can see that shit.
Man, just some niggas just gotta be joke characters. You know what I'm saying? Like, we cool, we're good, bro.
The thing is,
Please, no.
The thing is, you can't outrule it because Oda is that
I'm
level.
not. That's the problem. He played too damn much sometimes, bro. That's what I don't want to happen.
You can never
That nigga
outrule anything
plays
with
way
Buggy.
too much, bro.
Buggy and Oda,
Yonko? Oh, that's crazy. Nah, we gonna make him a Yonko.
That's the scary part. As far as he's going with it, he's going to keep going, bro.
I think the scariest part is the fact that Buggy himself says it, and like this was in pre-time skip. Like his entire journey was already mapped out.
That is kind of scary because Yonko Buggy could be a crumb of the future of what we could see. But he might be Pirate King, but I'm not like.
Bro, see, it could easily be a situation where like Luffy is the real Pirate King, like he found the One Piece and he's actually using it for the purpose it's supposed to be used.
Buggy takes
that Joy
credit,
Boy intended, but Buggy takes like the
fame. Yeah, he takes.
Yeah.
Man, please don't do that shit, bro. I'm gonna be mad as fuck, bro.
That's like the only.
But it kind of makes sense though, because Luffy doesn't care about the fame. Luffy doesn't care what people think.
Wealth. He doesn't want any of it.
Luffy just wants to have fun and travel around with his friends.
I want Luffy to be the king of the pirates. No motherfucking caveats. No.
So
other
you want
bullshit.
Luffy written in history. In the history book.
Yes, wealth, fame, and power, not just wealth and power. No, we need everything that come with being in the Kingdom of Pirates. If he pull that Buggy bullshit, I'm telling you, I'm gonna be a mad motherfucker at the end of the story, dog.
If anything, Prince, it would be like Buggy will be trying to like.
Might as well be mad.
I would be pissed off, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
If you're a civilian in the One Piece world right now, watching Luffy doing what he's doing at the age of 19, first to 17, then you wait for 2 years, then 19, I feel like he should already be in history books with how much he's done, and the pace he's moving at.
But you know who write history books? The government, man.
Exactly.
So,
Chat, how y'all doing?
With Shanks, because Shanks had a conversation with Harold. What do you think that was about?
He probably let him. He probably was warning him about team with Emu. He probably, like, hey.
Yeah.
Like I said, I feel like Harold probably.
Wait, so you think Shanks knows
was
about
forced
Emu?
into it?
I think
maybe it could be a situation of like Emu met Harold with Shanks' twin, and then Harold already knew of Shanks. That's why he had to talk to Shanks and be like, "Wait, this dude looks exactly like you," and then maybe they already talked about it, and then I don't know. That could be a situation as well.
This was already the point of Harold where he was, transitioning Elbaf to a point of peace. So I imagine that Harold was probably trying to work with the world government one way or another to try to actually have them, align with the government. But Shanks knows better from, actually being in there and seeing how they treat people and seeing, the negativity they bring about the world. So he couldn't really, in Marijo, I'll be like, nah, don't do that. But once he's on the island, he was like, listen, y'all may have had talks about connecting. Let me tell you why that's a bad idea. That's what I imagine.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I also think that, but my thing with Harold, but this goes back to me thinking like it was all forced on him because I feel like he had no choice but to accept this offer from Emu, using some type of leverage. And when that happened, he was probably like, okay, they want the Giants because we are a nation of warriors, basically sellswords. That's what they try to turn into an army. So what I'm going to do is instill a society of peace, education. I'm going to try to get us away from the very thing that they're trying to take advantage of us for. You know what I'm saying? And that was his only thing he could do to kind of try to see if maybe Emu will leave us alone if we do this. But Emu was like, I can just turn y'all niggas into demon if I really want to, you know what I'm saying? So, that's how we get where we at now.
What if another thing is possibly while he was out being a menace on these seas, Hadrid and mother ended up being, you know, maybe a celestial dragon. So maybe one way or another, they was trying to a way of coinciding there. And that may be another reason why, you know, how Elbaf feels about the world government, why Hadrian's mother was never allowed to be a part of, you know, Elbaf altogether. I think it got something to do with a woman one way or another.
There's always a woman, ain't it?
Always got something to do with a woman, man. I'm looking at Mother Carmel for real, for real.
Because that was
Like,
3
why was
years
she allowed-
before this stuff
Yeah, go
happened
ahead.
too.
Yeah.
No, I'm just adding to what you were saying.
I'm just thinking, like, why was she allowed to have so much freedom on Elbaf anyway?
That could have been, yeah. So when Shanks said he saw Harold he spoke he saw fuck me.
So wait, so you think Shanks was at the Reverie?
That's why I was leading. Let's do the math. So this is 14 years ago, right? How that thumbnail look I just sent, by the way? Make it yellow and add Conqueror's PNG behind. What the hell is a Conqueror's PNG? But
you can get Conqueror Haki like as a PNG and add it.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so 14 years ago. So right now, this year we had the Reverie in One
One
Piece.
Krow
Right?
could send you. I have a bunch of Conqueror Haki PNG.
Yeah, send them if you can. Yeah. So, Chad, I'm making a thumbnail for a video I'm recording. They just helped me out. But anyway.
Speaking of which, go subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.
Yeah, Power Hunter Krow, man. He has arrived. But
and while we're speaking about subscribing, make sure to like and subscribe to this channel as well. You know, we got a bunch of things coming up. We got so much content planned, and like it's the summer of One Piece, man. We gotta capitalize on it because shit's about to hit the fan. Well, I can already feel it. So
big facts.
The notifications on too.
So let's go back. Reverie was this year. So the most, and this flashback was 14 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So the most recent Reverie before the one that happened this year would have been 10 years ago. Then you got 6 years ago. Then you have wait, what the fuck am I saying?
It's every 4 years, right?
Every 4 years. So 14 years ago would have happened like 2 years prior to that current event.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's say, and when Mother Caramel, right? We got a time for when Mother Caramel went to Elbaf. And I think it kind of coincided around that time. Let me look it up. When did Mother Caramel go to Elbaf? 63 years ago when Big Mom was 5 years old.
Yeah, it happened when Big Mom.
Not around that time, by the way, but around the time when Harold. I'm fucking up. I'm thinking too much now, bro.
But look,
I think the first thing we got to look at is when when Mother Caramel saved the giants. Remember those giants that were up for execution?
Mm-hmm.
I think that was like 80 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. 79 to 80 years ago.
Damn, she old, man.
One thing.
Hello.
One thing I think this is one of the most interesting things in this chapter is, the theme of Shanks being a child of fate is so different from everyone else we've seen. Well, maybe not Blackbeard. I think maybe we might see something with Blackbeard, but if you look at Luffy, he's just a kid who no one's telling Luffy he's Joy Boy yet, and he's kind of just running around wanting to be free. Even though we know there's like a prophecy tied to him. And then maybe with Poseidon, I mean, do you think they've told her like you're like a child of fate in a sense?
Mm-hmm.
So I think so maybe with Luffy, he's the only one where he's like, they told him he's Joy Boy at Elbaf. He doesn't really know the meaning of it yet. But I think with Poseidon, with Shanks, and possibly Blackbeard, they all know that they have kind of a destiny. And I think the most interesting thing with Shanks is it's kind of like with him, he wants to be a pirate, but he's prioritizing his own destiny for a few years there. And it's like that, to me, I think that's cool because it makes Shanks where he values being a pirate so much more because that's true freedom for him.
Yeah, and that's probably why Buggy was so mad with him because he was probably like, what you mean? Like, you're supposed to be, he probably was in his mind saying the same shit. Like, you're the child of destiny. What do you mean you finna you gotta wait a couple years before you go do whatever you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because he was mad.
I think it's gonna be interesting how Oda kind of ties in with fate, with also the contrast of being a pirate and freedom.
I'm trying. Okay, I found some PNGs.
And then, do you think like
This
maybe
shit ugly though.
the Roger pirates learned about Shanks being a pirate or a child of fate at Laugh Tale?
And he wasn't there, so yeah, because it had to be a reason why he. Well, obviously he didn't go. He wasn't there because Oda don't want him to just be able to go back, right?
Yeah.
But and you know what? Fuck it. I was gonna make a video about this, but I think it's gonna take too much. I think that the fate part. All right, I think we had this talk before about Bink Sake, and
because it's very possible.
I think that's Shanks'
it's
family.
Possible Roger was also a fated kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's even possible they learn, like Roger is at Laugh Tale, and then he sees his own reflection, kind of in a sense where they're prophesizing a pirate crew who finds the One Piece, and it's maybe Roger. And I don't know, but I think there has to be something with Shanks there too.
Yeah, I think that the family that Shanks, the island that Shanks comes from the West Blue that he spoke about when he met Whitebeard, is the island where they made alcohol, and that's where Bink Sake was created, right? Yeah. And I think Binks Figureland was probably the patriarch of the family that joined the world government. And I know motherfuckers are gonna be like, "Oh, you saying that because it's Binks and Shanks or whatever," but that could be like his role in this prophecy is him being a child of destiny, where the whole song of Bink Sake is about delivering sake across the seas.
I mean, that's what he did to Whitebeard in his first appearance, right?
Yeah. So like, I think that his family, the Figureland family, and I don't think Binks himself probably was a bad person, but it could be like where somebody took over the family and that's why they joined the world government type shit. And Shanks's child, his role in that whole thing is to basically bring his family away from that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What's good, Flevins?
But yeah, it's interesting to me because I know a lot of people don't like the whole idea of fate with Luffy and Shanks, but I think the way Oda's going about it is kind of interesting, where you have a story about pirates where it's kind of conflicting with both. I don't think it's hypocritical. I think there's more of a deeper message there.
I think the coolest thing is that
I think you have
Gabon has been to Laugh Tale, and he's calling Shanks the child of prophecy. So like, there is clearly some merit behind what he's saying. Like, he has seen the truth of the world, and he looks at Shank as the child of destiny. I guess not prophecy, but like, that's massive. Like, this ain't just some random motherfucker saying this.
Yeah, and it's something different than it's also like we know with the Willa D and the Celestial Dragons, there's like this clash. So I do think it's going to be where Shanks is kind of a bridge between both. Because you need to have somebody in the future where if Luffy destroys the Celestial Dragons, but all this time Shanks was kind of the middleman bridging both, where in the end you can see they have a chance for change. And people might look at the Celestial Dragons as evil, but Shanks can be someone where they see him like he's kind of a hope for the future.
Mm-hmm. I think the Celestials was like dummy. No, never mind. Well, like a lower version of it. But go ahead, Prince, my bad.
I was gonna say, I think the whole situation kind of reminds me back of those like tier comparisons that we used to make a lot with Shanks, and the fact that he's always balanced. He's always making sure that the scales are not tipped in anybody's favor. So I think that just goes back to like that. But I do want to ask if y'all think that there's so much information and so many things to learn on Laugh Tale. Kind of a side question, but how big do we think Laugh Tale is? Is it a big island or is it a small island? Because in my mind, I always thought that like there's so much stuff that like is on Laugh Tale, but Laugh Tale itself is hella small.
I think it's small.
That was just my conception of it.
I think it's a small island, but just straight to the point. You know what I'm saying?
I think it might be kind of bigger than we think though, because if it's like a ancient city, if you think of how big the ancient kingdom might have been, because these are just islands, like fragments of the world of what it once was. So I
It's
feel
gonna
like
mess around and be like an
Last
ant
might be a little bit
colony.
bigger.
Like you gotta it's like a small area, but you gotta get to different areas to find out different things and put that whole puzzle together once you get there as well. That's how I imagine it.
Oh, like a Toto Land situation?
Like I said, like a daggone ant colony. You know, you could come in from one way or another. Like, you know, everything about this, it seems to be a puzzle. You know, you got to get the poneglyphs to get the lab cell. So I imagine once you get the lab cell, you still got to figure out things there to put everything all together as well. I don't think it's just going to be a book with all the answers. I think once you get the lab cell, you got to explore lab cell to get all the answers.
Yeah, that
You know,
makes
it would
sense
make
too,
a lot of
especially with
sense.
how it's if it's the ancient kingdom, it was mostly destroyed, so there's probably a lot of like it's probably not just a clean, simple place. It's ancient with has like a lot of ruins and so that makes sense.
See, I think it would be really cool if maybe they had to do like you have to do trials like that are based off of the island's features, right? Like from where the road poneglyphs came from. That would be cool. Like, oh, this road poneglyph came from Fishman Island. Do you actually know the Fishman in Fishman Island? Like a trial to sort of test that. Or were you just there and randomly found this shit?
Or it'd also
I feel
be
like
cool if it was
it
like
helps weed out the people that don't deserve it.
if it was made like where the island itself is like made from different eras in One Piece. Like one part of the island got like first world shit, another part of it has second world stuff, and the final part has stuff from this world. I think that'd be pretty cool.
We missed chapter 1151. Did y'all want to speak anything on that at all, or?
Yeah, I think all of it kind of led into this one. Let me go back and look at it though. This one was
Like,
massive though.
I'm gonna say
I was wondering why everybody was saying chapter of the year, but now that I look at it, like it's a lot of shit in this chapter, bro.
It's a lot, man. You got revealed.
There's so many details too, because I think this one of those chapters where it reminds you of, like I was talking about the Shanks thing, and like it goes into certain themes, but there was a moment where I think it was Loki, and he's talking about the Rocks pirates, and it's just like there's moments where Oda reminds you why One Piece is the best world building, and it's like a little detail. It's not even a big reveal or anything, but it's like him referencing the government taking down rocks, and you're seeing like the propaganda of people believe that. We don't know if it was Roger or what happened, but even Loki, who looks up to rocks, is believing that story. And it's such a pass by comment, but like I feel like those little details are so good in One Piece.
That's facts, though. That's facts. The only thing I want to bring up from last chapter, I'd say is, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Killingham design is fire.
Yeah, no, crazy is a good design.
Like
I like Luffy. I like Luffy noticing Chopper falling without seeing Chopper falling because he was thinking about, huh?
Voice of all things, do you think?
I didn't even think about the voice of all things. I just thought about, a heightened observation. I mean, Luffy may not see Chopper, but he may have felt Chopper, but I guess that could be the voice. But definitely
it's kind of like how Momo knew he was okay when Luffy fell out the island at Wano.
That's a great point.
And I just take that to be the voice about it. Because it's like, if it was like him having like a heightened observation moment, I feel like he would be like, "Oh, damn, my observation." He would say that, but the fact was like, "How did I know that?" Like that's got to be, in my opinion, some voice of all things type shit. I mean, I could be wrong now, but that's just how I read it.
That's a good idea.
I don't think it's a voice of all things thing because Loki is also observing it, but I think that Luffy is also starting to observe as well because he's just getting used to like him having better Haki. And
I countered that though with the idea that Loki also has the voice of all things.
If Loki has the voice of all things, okay. I
mean, you've heard the theories about like why he got his eyes covered because he got like crazy strong observation Haki. And
oh yeah.
And be seeing like the future. So I mean, him noticing that kind of just that worked. Because
if
Sanji, I ain't trying to say this because I'm a Sanji guy, but we know Sanji got real good observation, and he didn't, you know what I'm saying, he didn't pick up on it. So
see, even though we haven't had any feats from it, in my opinion, just based off of like conclusions that I don't know, I'm just making my own opinions off of it, but I think Loki has better observation Haki than Shanks. Even though Shanks is the observation killer.
Sheesh.
I think there has to be a reason why they're going up to the extent of they have to cover his eyes. Like if
he got to cover his eyes because
observation yet? Oh yeah, the future sight. The
future sight was pretty nuts. But if he got to cover his eyes because he can't control the visions, then I mean he can have like a better like talent for observation Haki. But I think Shanks might have the most refined observation Haki.
See, I'm not him
or Mihawk. Probably Mihawk actually, bro. I'm gonna keep it real with you.
What if it's like a Renegon situation where it's like you gotta cover it unless you're using it?
Renegon shit so ass. Now let me stop. I'm just trolling on Dilano. Shout out to the Renegon. I wish I don't. It's not an art so stream up mine.
Real quick,
I don't know how I feel about it. Go ahead.
No, you could, because I was going to move on to something else.
Nah, I'm talking about some random bullshit, bro. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, after reading this chapter, it's really making me really confident that Mosa, that Loki's been talking to, has been Ja Rule the whole time. You know, with them going back to the castle and the whole tragedy of Harold, them two being there together. Maybe Ja Rule doesn't know the whole understanding of what happened. I can imagine he may have some type of amnesia or some type of memory loss, you know, due to a sword being in his head. But, you know, I can see that being a means to, you know, try to keep some communication and basically make Loki get to the point where he's comfortable to open up to Hadrud and everybody at this point. You know, last chapter, he was just told, yo, I'm not going to be able to talk to you no more. We got to tell somebody something, or he's just gonna be stuck in this spot forever. Maybe he was trying to work Ja Rule to be able to slowly but surely use the most prominent giant to, you know, be able to get Elbaf back on his side. But since that may not be an option, I might as well just talk to the future king.
I'm gonna ask y'all this because I might be wilding. But does that not feel like a conversation between him and a girl, especially how embarrassed he was? You know what I'm saying?
Somebody that like is a curveball for you. Do we think it's a new character or do we think it's
it's a new female character from somewhere?
Okay.
Probably Celestia, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like I like, you know, the Denden Mushi has a beard, but we're also gathering that this person has to sneak and use the Denden Mushi, so it's not there. So that could just be the beard of whoever it actually belongs to. Plus, plus with them being in the underworld, which is winter, maybe the Denden Mushi just, you know, has a beard because for itself to protect itself. You know what I'm saying?
On some environment type.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just the way he reacted, because even Gerd is like teasing him about it. Like, you know, even you can find somebody that a calming voice or something like that. I'm like, if that's Ja Rule,
listen, Loki grew up with the only friends that he had was animals and bears. Like, you know, they're all around the same age. So she's seen him and like, yeah. Now somebody, it ain't gotta be a chick. It's just somebody that you can actually talk to and be normal with for a change. Cause they done seen this man for over 100 years acting ass.
I'm with it. I'm not turning it down. It doesn't have to be a girl. I'm just saying, I just feel like it's like a little girlfriend type thing. You know what I'm saying? But if it's Ja Rule, it makes perfect sense. I just, you know, I got to go back and look at these conversations. Like, you know, it's a little flirtatious here. You feel me? But it's all good.
Flirtatious? But nobody ain't no flirtation in One Piece, man. Outside of any, y'all done turned this Sanji chapter in too far.
Gabon, bro. Hey, if you want to talk about my boy Gabon at the port with the hoes, though, you feel me?
Yeah, boy. That's that. Listen, can't trust Shanks. Why would that be the first thing you
say? Hey, he was wild. That's the first day, dog.
No, I
he
feel
was trolling on purpose.
This is gonna
he knows exactly what he's doing.
Snitch allegations.
We in the
Like, it ain't
land
like
of
he a
war.
little kid. He's 25 years old,
We in
bro.
the
He is,
land
yeah.
of war.
He a grown age at
And
this
he
point.
and they know the bond and court so many bodies. And the first thing you want to do is talk about those type of bodies, you foul.
That boy said, yeah, we used to go to my island. My boy used to be at Magic City every night, bro.
On that time, man.
Oh,
Crazy.
man.
That was a
D-Liner
Luffy type
sent the
moment, though.
message.
Like,
Yeah, I want to read D-Liner message.
Nah,
I'm
that
not
is very
reading that.
Luffy like to say the most dumb shit possible.
But I feel like
That
I feel
nigga's
with
the
Shanks
first thing
that
that
was
come to mind.
purposeful. That was like him trolling. I think Luffy would just say just being dumb.
Yeah, Shaq probably was trolling him, to be honest with you. That man, that shit hilarious. Though. Oda funny, bro. That boy, he said, if you want to leave here alive, chill out. Fuck you talking about?
Trying to see if there's anything else we need to look through in this chapter. Let's see.
Oda is funny though. Like he just throws in random stuff like that. Like when she's peeping on him, like through the window. It's like just random stuff, bro. Like he'll just catch you off guard with classic Oda humor.
She big as
oh,
fuck, man.
Shanks caught Loki 6 years ago and chained him to that tree. 14 years ago, we saw Loki had a whole new hammer. So what did Loki do in those 8 years to get that fake Mjolnir? How do you even
That's a
attain
great
that?
question. I mean, well, I don't think anywhere else he would have got that hammer weapon from, but it is implied that he went out to sea and became a pirate, right?
Yeah. But they do
don't know
say
how
that
long
there
he was
are
out to
other
sea.
giant civilizations out there too, correct?
Yeah,
how
that's
long was Loki trapped in the underworld?
He's been there for 6 years.
6 years.
Oh my, bro, that's so long to be just like be alone in the underworld.
You know what I'm saying? You know that you didn't do this shit and you just gonna be an asshole, bro. Like, oh, I ain't telling nobody. I'm gonna just kick it. Ain't nothing funny down here, my boy.
I'm surprised he's like able to just have these conversations. You know how pissed I would be if I was trapped under there alone, no conversation.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. Most have kept him straight. That's why I'm like, if that was Ja Rule, that nigga wildin', bro. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
he got a
bro.
pen pal.
Like every time somebody walk up to you, you like, hey, just tell me who to kill, or tell me like Loki's a weird guy.
And maybe like if we buy into the visions thing, like maybe like them visions also kind of kept him sane too, though. Like he just sitting down there
made him
just
more
watching
insane,
shit, bro.
This guy having conversations with himself for 6 years. No, I mean,
that is indicator number one.
Oh yeah, he did have the humans and animals though. He had the humans and animals.
He had some other legs.
Yeah. It was funny as hell when he went to the door and the person was like, you know, let me check in. And he just kicked his face through the door, like, nigga, get out of my way. The fuck? It's my house, bro. He's telling you finna check. That was hilarious.
And then Oda had Harold doing the same kick to one of his peoples at the end of the chapter. Like, that was tough.
But at the same time, that's why that kick, though, like the fact that he was like trying to, like, it felt like he was trying to put off when Loki can see him, right? Like, what if that's what he was doing? Like, you know, hold on, let me go and see with the king. Make sure that let's see if they didn't kill him yet, or something. You know what I'm saying? That's how I kind of looked at that.
Yeah,
it's so funny to me.
And then as soon as once they get into the room, then the door is locked and can't nobody get out.
In the Viz, they described him. They said a low life scumbag.
Yeah, he was literally just looking.
The Harold. I mean, I understand. You age and everything, but this Harold don't look like the Harold that took his horns out. Am I tripping?
Hey man, listen, Denjiro got mad and his whole face changed, bro. Like, sometimes you gotta roll with it when it come to Oda.
That's what I still can't visualize. Is the fact that rage got him so fucked up, his entire face just like mogged itself and just like, I don't know what the fuck.
That's how you know he was just doing anything in Wano. Like, what do you mean? His whole, if you could have gave us a reason for why he looks different besides he just got mad.
He could have got some Botox, some Wado Botox.
You feel me? Like he could have, somebody could have changed him.
He stone Botox.
That was wild. But nah, this looks nothing like here. Only thing they got the same is a tattoo, bro. Nigga like Kratos when he was older.
Hey,
this daggone Like Harold, he looked just like Loki without the bandages, and them eyes look scared. That dude looked like a menace, boy.
I was thinking,
Menace.
I was wondering if Loki's eyes was covered because he had the little rings like Emu and Mihawk, but probably not at this point.
That would be nice.
Was this a Johnny
no
King? No, we got no break.
Want to talk about the ring culture real quick?
Yo, one more thing. This is the first time in the whole history of One Piece that Luffy actually cared about the backstory of somebody. Y'all peep that too?
Yeah, he actually stayed behind, but I think it's just because he heard Shanks' name. And that's something else. Zoro was like, hey, I think Zoro and them is going to
get off Shanks' dick, bro.
Yeah, Zoro like, hey, bro.
Nami was the
put your crew in danger, basically, to go back and hear
was trying
about
to drop all the knowledge, and Luffy was like, I'm about to take a nap. And then this dude that
bro,
we ain't
when
seen
he was
in
sleep
years,
doing Jinbei telling the story, oh my God, bro. That shit was so funny, bro. When Jinbei was telling him about Fisher Tiger and Otohime, and then it was like, damn, Luffy, you actually listen? Nigga said, I'm done sleep, bro.
I don't know, but it's Shanks' hero, because we've seen Zoro act the same way with Mihawk. When he first met Mihawk.
I mean, that when he first met him, no, that was young, but come on, Luffy, you a fucking Yonko. Your crew is literally in danger from the devil about to kill them. And you stay behind.
Like, I got this.
You got this,
bro. He's a little boy.
And then you stay behind to hear a story about Shanks. But at the same time, that's kind of like his dad, right?
5-star buffet while he's at it.
Yeah, but he kind of looks at Shanks like his dad. Like,
it's like it's his hero, man. Like it's like
really, it's hero. It's like how
it's like a superhero.
Deku look at All Might.
Yeah,
don't make excuses for bad behavior, y'all. That's not enough. Nami and Robin.
Yeah, Nami and Robin over here fighting demons, bro.
Yeah, they you got Jinbei bum ass up there not doing nothing for him, bro. Like, dude. Chopper just broke it down how bad it was up there.
That kind of does take the severity out of the situation sometimes. Because Luffy doesn't take anything serious until it's too late.
But I'm gonna read this out though. This nigga Chopper said, they've taken the kids hostage. There's a handful. There's a handful of enemies, and nobody can make them budge. And it's a bunch of enormous monsters running amok too. We need you guys. This nigga Luffy was like, bet, we got it. And then as soon as he heard Shanks' name, he was like, hey, you know what? Yeah, boy, go ahead. I need to hear this. No.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, bro.
That's disgusting work, bro.
Yeah, that's...
There's no excuse. There's no excuse, bro. He can be like, yeah, call me if y'all boy if it's too hard. I got to hear this, man. Let me finish this episode.
I think that this is also a bad thing. Not for Luffy, but for Shanks. I feel like this low-key might be like a death flag. Like,
Shanks. I think Shanks is gonna die, but I don't think it's coming from Blackbeard. I'm almost convinced it's coming from
Blackbeard. I feel like it's gonna be some type of untimely situation where either Luffy never gets to actually formally go ahead and give the Straw Hat back or be with Shanks, and then he dies.
That reminded me.
It should be something horrible. I don't know.
That reminds me. I was thinking too. Shanks is a child of fate. I think there's definitely gonna be a conversation with Blackbeard. I think I mentioned it before in a video or maybe on stream or something. But I remember when Whitebeard, because Whitebeard, I feel like he was looking for who could Joy Boy be. Could it be Luffy or Ace? But I think he thought maybe Blackbeard would be some kind of child of fate as well.
Probably bad. Because
when during Marineford, he was saying like, "You're not the one Roger was waiting for," and I feel like maybe it implies that he kind of was considering Blackbeard was something. So and Blackbeard, he probably is something different. Like it's something completely different.
I mean, it can be fate, but just the negative side of it. Like
it's probably going to be something.
Some bad shit be fated to happen sometime too.
And that's also probably the reason why, like Blackbeard could be the actual reason why Celestial Dragons are so afraid of Willow D. Not just Luffy who's going to destroy them, but Blackbeard is like the evil part of it.
People want to get their revenge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Suzette Wise sent a message, but it was retracted. That sucks. Okay.
Do better, Susu.
How we feel about Kevin Durant to the Rockets, man?
Not a
I feel
needle
like,
mover.
yeah, it's not really. I don't think it's a big move, man.
If they can bring in a guard that can, like, you know what I'm saying, set the table for motherfuckers, then they're gonna be something crazy.
But the Suns are cooked. The Suns, like,
oh yeah,
Bro. They don't have nothing but shooting guards and point guards on their roster right now, bro.
Yeah, the Suns are cooked. But Rockets, I mean, you're always gonna be. I mean, and I seen people say, "What was the point of the trade?" I feel like anytime you're getting KD, the guy is still averaging 26 points a game, bro. He's still one of the best scorers in the league. I feel like that's worth it if you're the Rockets.
I mean, you're not really losing anything. You see that Jalen Green is not that guy, so
yeah,
that's an upgrade. But my thing is, like, Amon, that's Amon, right? That's not a sword. That's Amon, right? But basically,
no, it's
him and Brooke.
Yeah, it's a man. I thought it was a man, but yeah.
Man, amen. Listen, that boy, him and Brooks, you know, they was the ones that held down the perimeter, so it's going to be an extra load on him. I know that. The man that played the four.
They got Easton though. They got Easton.
There we go. I mean, how the NBA is moving now with the OKC template that we've been provided, you got to have 3 to 4 defensive wings to be able to slide them puppies. So, you know, Durant helps offensively, but, you know, he's injury prone at this point in his career. So, you know, we got to be mindful about how we manage that. And there's not a lot of scoring outside of him. That's why I'm like, I don't really think it's a needle mover, because they basically were stop you on defense and then get a bunch of transition buckets. But with Durant, they may have to be a more traditional offense, and I don't think that's best for, you know, what they were built for. I
still think it's pretty good for them because they lose Dylan Brooks. He was a good defender, but I mean, it frees up Easton a little bit more to get some more rotation time. And it also could possibly lead to Ben Shepherd getting a little bit more pulled too. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like he was 6th pick, 5th pick, something like that.
Yeah, but do you really think the Rockets have a chance of winning a ring in the next couple years?
A ring? I
don't think so.
Like I said, if they can make a play for a guard.
I'm a big fan of Sengun. I'm a big fan of Thompson, KD, but I just feel like it's still not enough.
I feel like if they can make a play for a guard,
actually,
that can really score the ball. Those guys
are kind of younger, so
yes. It's a young team.
Yeah, so they could.
But my thing is this:
if you got KD as a centerpiece, that's not bad, I guess.
I think he's just there for development as well, though. Cam Whitmore also going to be getting more minutes, but like when you bring Kevin Durant and you got somebody like Amen Thompson, you got Jabari Smith Jr., Tari Eason, all who are very raw, unpolished offensive talent. I'm not saying they can become Kevin Durant, but they can learn a lot from Kevin Durant. Yeah. And I still think that they're going to be pushing the pace as a team because the whole 5 don't got to get down court when it comes to forcing turnovers and forcing chaos. If as long as Amen and Eason and maybe Whitmore, if he gets some more tick, can still get put, because you know they had fucking Fred VanVleet. He don't run.
Yeah, and that's true. But you know, we always, and the whole thing this year was the Rockets don't have any type of half court offense that's reliable consistently. KD instantly solves that problem.
Exactly. So he's like a plug-in immediate. Like when Jalen Green had that 138-point game in the playoffs, right? He might not. Well, I mean, he can. It's fucking Kevin Durant. But he's gonna be that consistently on a 28-ish range. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like, because they lost a lot of close games with Jalen Green to give you shit. I think that what he provides them offensively makes up way more for what they lost defense, because they literally could not get a bucket sometime. Plus the spacing and the fact that he's just a vet for these kids is massive. Because like I said, Jabari Smith was getting Kevin Durant comparisons coming out of college, and nobody has ever lived up to the KD comparison. But I mean, bringing KD to a KD comp guy is pretty massive to me. If Dallas healthy playoff time, nobody got a shot. They also need a point guard, I think, but I agree.
I just want to.
They got the best.
You want to talk about the finals real quick because it's Game 7 today. Who you guys got?
You know what?
I got the Thunder. Listen, man. The last couple of years, I've been rolling with the Thunder. I hope they get the ring.
No, you haven't.
Bro, bro, we go back on this
That's
stream.
crazy.
2
This
years
nigga
ago, I
rewriting
said,
history.
last year, I said, I hope the Thunder win.
Ja? I thought you was missing.
I'm saying you was team Memphis, bro.
Memphis for sure. No, I'm not a Thunder fan. But I'm saying, like, out of every team that I thought had a chance, I would always say Thunder. I never thought the Grizzlies really had a chance. If I'm being honest.
Well, I'm gonna say this. What better way to cap off the clutchest playoff run of all time than to win in Game 7 as the underdog?
It would be ecstatic. It would be crazy to see.
And what better way would be to do that than to get a game winner with it?
That would be insane.
I'm calling it right now.
We just,
Tyrese Halliburton game winner at the end of this game.
We talk about
to cap it off.
Halliburton conversation. Is this guy overrated or underrated, or what is the deal with him?
I think he is both.
Somehow,
Like,
how can you? Why do you only take 2 shots in the first half?
Yeah, that was. I think here's the thing with Halliburton, right? He is a playmaker to a fault. Sometimes he wants to get other people involved in the offense, or whatever, but he won't do shit, and that's where the problem arises.
Yeah, but the funny thing is
sometimes
that
you gotta come on, bro.
Overwrites completely when it's last shot. Who's gonna take it? He completely is like, all right.
Because if you look at Game 1, bro, he really wasn't. I'm not afraid to answer your super chat, bro. I told him I'm gonna let somebody else read it. But if you really look at it, like Game 1, he didn't have the best game, but he at the end of that game, they know who to get that ball to.
I feel like it's a
that
comment.
nigga.
But
you know what? I've been noticing. Shout out to Miles Turner, bro. He's been locking up Chet the whole series.
But he offensive, both of them, bro. It's like two.
Yeah, and offensively, he's not really doing much.
They both are so bad. This might be the worst big man battle in the finals ever, bro. What are these niggas doing? I don't know. I got to get out of here soon, though, fellas.
What I will say though is that team-wise, I feel like this is one of my favorite finals in a while. Like in terms of like how the teams are like.
The team,
this has been amazing basketball.
Their role. There's no egos on either side of the team.
It's been amazing basketball to watch too. Like everybody was talking about how this final was gonna be ass. I guess because everybody thought the Thunder was just gonna roll over the Pacers, which is fair to think.
And that's the one thing I like with
great,
SGA is like the whole team knows he's that guy. But then you'll still see a game where J-Dub comes in, drops 40 points, and he can still have the explosion. Like but I feel like I respect that they all understand their roles, and SGA is consistent, bro. This guy. Has he even had a bad game offensively in the entire playoffs?
Yes, he
had the Grizzlies. Yeah, the Grizzlies. He
had one like 2 games ago too. Yeah, the game they lost, game 3 or it was 3, I think. When it was because what did they go down 2-1 or did they? Whenever it became 2-2, I think when Indiana won, Shea played bad that game.
Okay, yeah, he's had 3 bad games, but he's consistent, man. Like this guy.
That was game 3, yeah. Because I think Indiana went up 2-1, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he had 20 points, but it was like a very inefficient 20. I gotta get out of here. I think my son's gonna wake up and I gotta get him. So, I'm gonna go ahead and head out. That's smooth with y'all.
Yeah, we can end it.
Well, let's.
Is there a chapter next week?
Yeah, we'll be back next Sunday.
All right, we'll be back next Sunday. Appreciate everybody coming through. Like the stream, and appreciate the super chats as well.
Let's go Pacers. Yes, sirs.
I'm rooting for the Pacers, but I got the Thunder. OPU, we do what we do.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And no, Sanji did not learn Conqueror's Haki on Ivanka Island, bro.
No, he's saying something else.